How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Parents versus Gaming. It is January 24th on recording. This is gonna be out tomorrow, January 25th. I'm here again with my co-host, Miss Kia Kane. Kia, how are you?
I am doing good today. I woke
So,
up with no headache.
no Jay Noller. He is in Jamaica. A horrible life he has. You know, he was in Orlando, then he left, then he went back to Orlando, then he went to Negril. Now he's in Jamaica again. You know, imagine the struggle he's living.
He said he's in Grenada.
Oh, he's in Grenada. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not Jamaica.
Yeah, I get confused.
Still,
They're all
the
same.
horrible life.
Yeah, it's horrible. This is actually episode 32. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Like I said, starting with me and Jay, going to me, Jay, and Jordan. Jordan has now moved on to grow her stream bigger. And of course, we have Kia here. And Kia, we're super excited to have you. So what I want to talk about today is, my son, he's not even 2 yet. So other than like hitting the games with buttons and making the noise, he actually likes a lot of development things. Your son's a little bit older and plays video games.
Yes.
So my question to you is, I kind of want to go back to when we were kids, right? What was considered an okay game to play? You've got Minecraft, which most parents, today kind of throw out. They don't really pay attention to what their kid's doing. It seems to be a fairly safe game. Do you remember a game that was considered just safe that your parents just casually didn't mind that you played?
Mario.
It's true. Probably anything Mario related, right?
Anything Mario related was great. There was one I cannot remember that we got to play. Oh man, but I don't remember it. It was on the Nintendo. I don't remember, but you could pick fighter jets and you could shoot little things in space. I don't remember what it was. Wasn't Galactica, was it? Might have been
Galaga.
Galaga. There we go. It was something. Yeah, that's what it was. So
yeah, it's usually paired in the arcade cabinet with like a Miss Pac-Man or something. You could play one or the other.
Yeah, Pac-Man was another one we could do. So thank you for yelling.
See, the joys of being at home with a child at home, right?
Yes. Stay-at-home parents. Yay. No, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Of course, absolutely.
But yeah, so I mean, those were kind of the safe things. There weren't really a whole lot of things that I feel like in our day there wasn't. I don't feel like video game wise there was a whole lot our parents really had to worry about.
Do you think? Okay, and I'm talking kind of 80s, early, the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was a game? Can you remember? I know one off the top of my head, and I'll get to it in a second. But do you remember a game that just created a lot of controversy, and parents just did not think it was safe or want?
Maybe like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know for sure because my dad was a video gamer, so I got to.
You're very lucky, yeah.
I got very lucky in that aspect. My dad was a gamer, and so and he was just very okay with a lot of things. But I mean, I wouldn't say that. I can't say for sure that there was a game that he was like, oh no, don't play that game.
I remember, not so much in my family. They didn't stop us from playing it or think it was bad, but I remember at church and stuff, people just were like appalled. And it's kind of funny to think about today, but Duck Hunt caused an outrage because it came with that gun.
Yes.
A light gun that you shot ducks.
Yes.
Super simple game. Everyone loved it. But man, there was so many people that just outraged at the fact that like, I can't believe you would include a gun with a video game. Like you're teaching kids.
I do remember that. Now that you say it, I remember that. But my dad never, like he didn't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny to think about today when you've got things like Grand Theft Auto and,
Okay, that was a game. So, oldest of 5 kids, okay? My younger brothers got into Grand Theft Auto. And me being the older sibling, a lot of times, my mom, she's a single mom, so she worked a lot. She would get home, she's tired, she didn't care. And my brothers would play that game, and I would get so mad at them for playing that game because it was so bad. I was like, no. I was like, these are young boys. They think they should not be playing this game. But like I said, my mom was working most of the time. She didn't care. She was tired by the time she got home. So it was up to me to be like, no, you can't play that game. And of course, they're like, big mean sister, because she's not letting me play this video game.
Yeah, and you know, like Mortal Kombat came out in the 90s, and that added the blood and the realism. They were taking, you know, live actors and pixelating them on the screen. Like, that definitely caused a lot of stir, but it's kind of funny to look back now. It's the same in movies and TV shows, right? Like, what was considered extremely adult and over the top back then isn't now. It's very, like, desensitized, or it's just a little bit more, I don't even want to say accepted. It's just, I think people know, I don't know if it's our culture that grew up and that's what we grew up with, so we're kind of easy to handle, but it's not, it's pretty much very tame compared to what's out there now today.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like a lot of it too boils down to the parents being like, okay, you do understand that this is not real life. Like, this isn't real life. This is pretend. Like, I always try to make sure that Kane understands that with some of his games. I'm like, you do understand that this is just pretend, right? It's not real. And he's like, yes, mommy, I understand that it's pretend and it's not real. It's just a video game. Like, okay, as long as you understand that. Like,
yeah. So, which is perfect that you bring that up. So my question is, you know, as we dealt with the duck hunts and some of the issues back then, and the Mortal Kombats as it got, you know, in the 90s and kind of expanded a little bit with the better graphics and everything. There's a lot of parents today that, just like there were then, that don't understand it. So they see something one or two times and they completely dismiss it. They think it's horrible for their kids. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what you think is considered a safe, you don't really need to pay attention. You know, if your son was playing something, aside from the Call of Duties and the Battle Royale, the shooter games of the world, what games are out there now that you don't really pay much attention to that you feel like they're safe for your kids to play?
Outside of Minecraft.
So Minecraft definitely the top, right? So
it is. It really is. And it is a fun game. As a gaming parent, I never I never got into Minecraft until my son did. And now I'm just like, oh, I love it. It's so fun because it's really nice to just get on and like just chill. Like, it's a very nice, relaxed game. Just be creative. And I love that part because it's crazy how creative you can be with square blocks. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they basically, Minecraft effectively took our generation's Lego affection and put that into a video game, right? Except now you can like completely create anything. And it's funny, you know, as someone that has jumped into your stream a handful of times, especially recently, as I know you're trying to build out your stream, I jumped into one of your Minecraft streams. And it's funny you say you're not into it because you literally lead like an entire community.
I do. Now, it's so fun. It's my first time too.
It's funny to say, for you to say, oh, I didn't really get it. I didn't really think Minecraft was that great. But now you like, you have like a bakery, a town.
I have a whole bakery realm.
You set up a whole town, and that's true. And you can see that with your kids, right? Your kids can, you think they're just playing a video game, but they're being so creative, and they're almost kind of like a developer. They're designing things. Maybe they decide they want to be an architect because they enjoy building houses. I mean, the options that go out there are endless. But aside from Minecraft, you know, what else? What else do we got?
So there's another game. I will say that my son enjoys playing it. He's actually beaten the story multiple times. There is a multiplayer to it. It's Titanfall 2 or Titanfall. I like letting him play those games because it kind of gives him that. But he also enjoys. He likes puzzle games. Which I find great. He loves those because they really make him use his brain and like really think. So I don't mind games that require him to actually put thought into what he needs to do next. Human Fall Flat. I don't understand the game. I really don't. The controls are horrendous. But it is a puzzle game. And he loves it. You run around as a little clay guy. That's all you do.
Yeah,
you're a little clay person with floppy arms and
and
hair.
there's no one. There's no. No one's speaking in the game, correct? So you're not worrying about any craziness. It's just
no. Yes. So that's one thing I enjoy is it's something that he can play single player, or he can have me or his dad join him on his Xbox. So it's like, you can do dual player on the Xbox. You don't actually have to have like I know a lot of games nowadays are like online. So you have to have, if you have someone join you, you have to have an online person. I don't necessarily like that because I don't like him being online because he's still young.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to say it, there are still predators out there that prey on that. And I don't like that. So mama bear trying to keep her baby protected. So I like that there's that aspect that he does not have to play with someone online, and that we can, if we want to join him, we can on his Xbox and just use the second controller. But I love that it's a puzzle and he has steps to figure out each part, because it's not just like one puzzle, you move on to the next level. It's a whole area that he has to figure out, and he loves that. And it's funny watching him do it, because I'm just like, how do you do that? And he is so good at it. These controls, I suck as an adult, like trying to play this game with him. I'm just like, wait, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? And he's like, Mom, you just hold both triggers to do this, and you move up. When I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
But he's got it down pat, and he works really well, and he loves puzzle games. So anything puzzle related, I'm okay with him.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned Xbox, because that game's actually on what we call Xbox Game Pass. Of course, a lot of people know that subscription-based service. Basically, for those that aren't big into gaming, you look at it as like Netflix, but for games. You can get Game Pass without even owning an Xbox console. You could just get it to where you can play. The kids can play on their phone. They can play on any kind of handheld device or through the computer. So it's a good way to get into it. And also, besides Human to Fall Flat, there are a number of other very independent puzzle games. And if you want to set up the Xbox for your kid to play, the family settings on Xbox are second to none, including Nintendo and PlayStation. You can get on there and limit the exact type of content, which is great. And if you are listening and you're like, wow, I don't know how to do that, I wish I knew how to do that, reach out to us, parentsfirstgaming@gmail.com or lastchoicenetwork@gmail.com. Either email address will get to me. We're more than happy to help you guys do that, or comment on the YouTube video. We would love to explain, to help you guys out, because we definitely want your kids to enjoy gaming, and for you to have a peace of mind that you're not worried about the different communities and stuff that they can get into, because of course, unfortunately, there is some toxicity out there. I don't want to completely dismiss it. Roblox always comes to mind for me, where it's an extremely kid-friendly game, but if you don't know how to, it's very toxic. If you don't know how to get your kids on make sure they're in a private chat where it's only their friends, which is very easy to do. They can play Roblox. They can be in a chat room where it's just their friends. No one's going to join their chat room. It's not like that. It's a specific closed off. It's like getting on FaceTime or a conference call with a couple of buddies on the phone. It's the same. Yep. Again, it's very easy to do that on something like the Xbox. So, or through your PC, through Xbox, what they call Xbox Party Chat. So we're always happy to help you guys out with that. So that limits that. But, aside from the Xbox ecosystem, again, we mentioned it. I said, what's the safest game your parents didn't care? And the first word out of your mouth was Mario. Mario is still relevant today. It's still probably the king of all video game mascots. They're still making Mario games. If your kid is interested in a little bit of sports, they've got the different sports games. Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Party's little party game. Then you've got Mario Kart Racing. All these games are super safe. They've got their cheesiness, they've got their competitiveness, they've got their just whatever your kid wants to do. They don't have to be great at it. It's always going to be a safe option. Of course, you're looking at a Nintendo Switch at that point. That's really the only way to play them today. Or, you could always look at retro consoles. You want to make your kids earn their way through life, go out and get a classic NES and say, you know what, we'll get you a brand new console when you can beat half the games in here. I know some of my friends do that to their kids. So I
feel like our games too were a little harder.
Yeah, well, we didn't have unlimited saves. You had like 5 lives, and that was it.
Yeah, you had 5 lives. That was it. you didn't have voice, you didn't have people telling you what to do. You actually had to read a lot of it, and that was another thing. Like, I try to tell Kane, I'm like, you don't even understand how easy you have it with
Yeah.
video games, because they tell you. You have someone talking to you to tell you what to do. A lot of our games, you had to be able to read or you were screwed.
Yeah,
You
which I mean,
just
Nintendo is
were.
still doing that, right? A lot of Mario games,
Yeah,
Zelda games. There's a, they make little noises when they're talking. Animal
but
Crossing
there's
is the
no
same way, but they're
actual.
not actually speaking, so you got to read
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they're saying. Which I know Jay has said this a number of times when his kids were younger. He was like, well, if you want to know how this game is working, you better figure out how to read.
That's what I tell Kane. I
Yeah,
tell him, because sometimes he'll be like, "Well, Mom, what does it say?" I'm like, "Figure out how to read."
yeah,
Like that's what I keep stressing to him. I'm like, because he's got most, like, his fundamentals are there, but he just is like, I don't want to, and I'm like, you're gonna go through life, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna suck, because if you don't put these together, like we keep asking you to, like doing this and reading, life is gonna be hard. I
yeah,
said,
absolutely. You
it's not
know.
gonna be handed to you.
I definitely think
So
it's fun. You can put an incentive to them, right? An incentive to
yeah,
them wanting to learn, which is great versus just saying you have to learn, because now they want to
yeah,
learn because they want to understand what's going on in their fun side
yeah.
of life. Uh,
Well, and we tell him all the time. We've taken things away from him. Like, we'll take his video games away. Be like, all right, well, if you don't want to do that, then that's fine. We'll take your games away. And he's like, wait, what?
mhm.
So,
So now I want to jump into, we talked about what is safe. Some of the games we
mhm,
mentioned, that's safe for all ages, in my
yes,
opinion. If they can hold a controller, any of the games we mentioned, whether it's a Mario game, Minecraft, even jumping into Roblox under a safe parameters, the Human Fall Flats, the
yes,
puzzle games, it really comes down to their mental capacity of being able to understand the game. But as far as an environment, it's extremely safe. Now, when we talk about, you did mention Titanfall 2, which you're comfortable
I
with your
did.
kid play, but I know that your
I
son is
am, but
not super
they're
old, is not older.
no,
So, what would be your suggestion to a parent that's you're into gaming, right, Kia? So, for
yes,
you, a parent's going to look at you and say, "Well, you're big into gaming. You understand all these games. You know every moment of that game that he's playing." If
yeah.
you're just a regular parent, you look over and your kid's playing Titanfall 2 campaign. There are some
There are
iffy,
some iffy things in there. I
if
will
you're
say
out,
that.
especially out of context, if you don't know what's going on,
Yes.
right?
If
So,
you don't know, yes.
what what do you think is a safe age to start playing into the worlds of shooters? Whether it's a Fortnite, whether it's a Call of Duty, a Titanfall, um, Apex Legends. These are the popular games that these kids are seeing 24/7, and they're,
Mhm.
especially when
And
you get to that age. You get to that
my
age
kid
group where
loves Apex.
they go to
My kid
school.
loves it.
They go to school, and half the parents
Yeah.
don't let their kids play shooters, and the other half are getting to that point where they are. Where's kind of
Mhm.
what's your opinion on the age cutoff and how a parent should handle that, especially if they're not a gamer and they don't understand?
Okay. So if you are not a gamer, I don't necessarily recommend letting your kid get into shooter games at like my son's age, because he's 6. And I didn't necessarily want him playing, but one thing is he was not allowed to play. So Titanfall 2 was free, which is why I allowed it to be downloaded, and it was on my PlayStation. So I downloaded it because it was a free game at the time. My son clicked on it because he wanted to know what it was, and I say at the time, I want to say he wasn't even 6 yet. He was probably closer to 5, and he is not allowed to play multiplayer. It does have a multiplayer, but he's not allowed to play it. So he has gone through the campaign multiple times. And he loves the campaign. Now, there are some curse words, obviously, because it is a game intended for older people. For that type of stuff, personally, I would say maybe preteen, but that's on the parent. I feel like if you feel like your child completely understands that it is just a pretend game, it is not real life, then I feel it's up to each parent individually on how they feel, if they feel safe with it or comfortable with it. Um, But he has played. I think he has gotten into the multiplayer a few times on Titanfall, and there was a kid on there that was probably closer to his age, and I can't even tell you the mouth on that kid. I wanted to get on there and be like, "Where's your mama? I want to talk to her." Like, because she obviously doesn't know what you're saying, and I am hearing it. And my son was like, "Mom," I was like, "It's okay." Like, so we muted that kid. Like, he had to get out of that lobby. I was like, "You're not allowed to be around that. Like, that's not okay." And there was an older kid in that lobby as well, and that older kid actually fussed at the younger kid for being so bad, like, as far as the mouth, like, just like, there's no sense in that. Like, you are young, you don't need to be, those type of words don't need to be coming out of your mouth. Like, which, I mean, as kids, I know, as all young kids we were, like, when we were teenagers and stuff, sure, we did. I'm sure we all said things we weren't supposed to when we weren't around our parents. All right, I get that. But, I mean, this kid was super young. Like, you could just hear it in their voice. Like, you could tell they probably weren't even 10.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
and again, it reiterates the fact we talked about earlier. If you're not a gamer as a parent and you're worried about your kids, if your only worry is the online interaction with strangers, please, I promise, don't punish your kids in that way, because you just have to tell them to be in a closed off chat. They can just only chat with their friends, or you can play those games with everything being muted where they can't talk to anyone.
I was going to say, Kane is not allowed to have a headset. He's not allowed to have a headset for that reason, because when they have a headset, you cannot hear everything that's going on in the conversation of what's in there. So he's not allowed to have a headset if he is playing online. And, like, we're very strict about that. He's usually not allowed to play online with other people unless we are there. Just like because like I said, he plays Apex with me. He is not allowed to play with anybody else. And even then, he doesn't have a headset. He doesn't necessarily need one because it's just me and him. So I don't typically allow him to play online with other people unless it's me or my husband.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of with that is a lot of people are, like I said, a lot of parents may be listening, Killa, where they're not gamers. Yeah. So now you run into that, okay, so my kid's just playing either with their friends or by themselves, but they really want to play this shooter game.
I honestly, no headset.
Until about what age? Be like,
that's personally, well, okay, so no headset, I would say, at least until they're probably preteen or teen. And even then, I would probably say it needs to be your friends. Now, teenagers, I feel like they're a little more on the responsible. We all know teenagers aren't crazy responsible, but I feel like they can usually filter out. If not, just make it known that you're okay if they come to you about something. Like, if somebody's talking to them on the mic, they need to know that it's okay for them. Like, if they're having an uncomfortable conversation, they need to be able to know that it's okay for them to come to you and talk to you about it without you losing your head. Okay? Because I know as a parent, if my son came to me and someone was being nasty or ugly towards him, yes, it would be very hard for me to not lose my head over it, but it's not his fault, and I would be happy that he came to me over it. So as a parent, if you don't game, personally, I would say no headset until they're probably preteen or teen. That's just me personally, and that's, my mom, I mean, there's no way, if we would have had headsets back in the day, my mom probably wouldn't have allowed it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. You just can't be too careful.
And at the end of the day, it kind of just depends on the comfort level of the parent. If you're already comfortable with them hearing a little bit of language or a little bit more adult things, maybe you're watching more adult style movies, and I always look at it like this. If you're not comfortable having a conversation with what your kids may potentially see or have to deal with in a game, then you probably have to really consider on what you allow them to play, because you
Yep.
do need to have that open dialogue with them. Like you said, you constantly tell Kane, Apex is a shooter game, but it's just pretend.
It's just pretend,
you
and he's
know,
not allowed to play with anybody but me.
And at the end of the day, the shooter games since the beginning of time, since Duck Hunt, are typically the most popular games. They're competitive.
Yeah.
They're competitive with their friends. There's more people that play them. If they watch YouTube videos, they're always at the top. So it's just what they see all the time. But it doesn't mean, for me personally, I've never shot a gun in my entire life. My brother was in the military. He was like special forces. He's crazy. He's out there. Like, he could probably snipe someone from 17 miles away or whatever it is, and that was what he did for his life. I've never even shot a pistol or a shotgun or nothing, and I grew up in the country with all my friends were hunters and all that.
Wow, that's crazy. You grew up in the country and you've never shot?
So, and I play shooter games every day, and I'll be the first to tell you, playing Call of Duty or PvG or Apex or Halo has never made me think, man, I really want to own a gun. So this thought of like playing shooter games and being afraid of it, that your kids are going to turn into gun lovers, is absurd. Nothing about the game makes me want to become a gun lover. I've played hunting video. I played big. You take me into a Dave and Buster's. Listen, I'm gonna spend about $20 at Big Buck Hunter. Okay, I love it, but I'm not going out in real life with a rifle and trying to shoot no Bambi. So it's just one of those things. I really think it comes down to the parents and
what they're comfortable with,
and what you're comfortable with dealing with is what I would say.
But I would definitely say that if you're not comfortable having those conversations with your kid, then they should not play those games.
So you shouldn't let your 6-year-old play Grand Theft Auto, is what you're saying.
Do not let your 6-year-old play Grand Theft Auto. Look, there are some nasty things in that game, and even as a sibling, when I watched my brothers play these games, I was like, that is not appropriate, like, by any means. By any means is this appropriate. But, I mean, if you're not comfortable having these conversations with your kid, then they are not old enough.
Correct. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, Kia, I think that's going to be the end of our episode. So thank you for coming in. I will check in with you next week. But for our listeners, again, I say this every time. If you follow our Twitter at Last Choice Network, I've tweeted out quite a bit about Kia because she's always promoting her stream. Let everyone know where they can reach you. It's twitch.tv.
/KILLAKANE 0801.
So Kia Kane 0801 at twitch.tv. Like I said, if you want someone that, whether she's doing Minecraft or the Dragon Age playthroughs, playing a little bit of Apex, occasionally you might see her son playing a little Apex on her stream with her. She's a little bit all over the place, but super wholesome. She's a lot of fun to be around. Her community is really great. They have the bakery, which I believe they can find you on Discord through the bakery as well, right? They want a community that's kind of fun and sharing pictures. And if you're a baker for whatever reason, or you want to be jealous about all the things that Kia bakes, that's going to be on there. And I believe I've been reading, you promised us a baking stream last year.
Yes.
Which has yet to happen, right?
It hasn't happened yet. I plan on doing it. We're in the process of fixing up and trying to finish this, my husband's his papa's old house. We're having some issues with the contractors. But that I've informed my community as well. I do plan on going through with it. They raised the channel points. I mean, they busted their butts. They really wanted this community challenge done. So, once I'm in there though, I do plan on doing the baking stream. And that will be in the bakery. I will announce it. I will probably announce it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, by Discord, the bakery, to let people know for sure a date when we finally are moved in and settled and stuff. But like I said, we're kind of in the midst of fighting with contractors who seem to be dragging their feet.
Life is life, right? And for those that do listen to Parents versus Gaming, Jay and I have actually talked a little bit about possibly doing a live watch along during your baking stream. So I think that could be a lot of fun for us to have a little behind the scenes commentary and probably a lot of jokes.
I would love it.
But I think it would be a lot of fun, and we're super excited. So just keep us updated on that, Kia. But outside of that, thank you guys so much. My name is James. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/the JT3 JT3 _. So the JT3 _ easy to find on twitch.tv, and of course Kia Kane on Twitch as well. So thank you guys so much. We will see you and talk to you next week. Bye bye.